G'day viewers, the end of another week means it's time once more for Totally Fucked Up Friday, a roundup of some stories from this week that show that the world really is totally fucked up. I'm going to start off just very quickly visiting the verdict of the Anders Breivik trial in Norway that a lot of people sent to me saying, oh, this is fucked up. He's sentenced on the surface to 21 years jail for the murder of over 70 people, which a lot of people say, that's not enough. Now, two points. One, I don't know if people just didn't read the articles properly or they willfully want to ignore what's happening in order to be outraged. But under the Norwegian law, he can be detained forever. Even though the sentence is minimum of 10 years up to 21 years, the nature of the sentence means if at any point, like, you know, a parole hearing, he's determined to still be a danger, he can be detained indefinitely. So there is that. And second, quite frankly, the people of Norway have conducted themselves with such dignity after the actions of this horrible, horrible scumfuck excuse of a human being. I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to second guess them. If more people in the world conducted themselves like the people of Norway, I can't help but thinking we'd all be a bit better off. So I'm simply going to leave it at that. But what I am going to revisit and get a little bit worked up about, because this does genuinely make me angry, the American politician Todd Akin, the Republican from Missouri, who got in a bit of a shitstorm that he wasn't expecting by talking about the concept of legitimate rape, as in, you know, when the cheap whores aren't really asking for it, and saying how a woman won't get pregnant if she was legitimately raped, because the body and the magic uterus will stop this. And there's been a huge backlash against him. His own party have said, fuck that. And he's gone and said, oh no, I was wrong. You know, women who are raped can get pregnant and I misspoke. Here's what makes me particularly angry. He did not misspeak. He said exactly what he meant to say. What he said is the mainstream view of the anti-abortion movement, particularly in the US. Namely, only cheap, nasty whores go for abortions, and the ones who say they were raped are just fucking making up excuses. In fact, it looks like the official Republican position is going to be all abortion illegal under all circumstances, which is for a party that says, oh, we're all about government not interfering. Except when you are, and this shit doesn't even work. History shows you if you make abortion illegal and difficult to get, it still happens. It's just really unsafe. And it's purely and simply victimizing women who find themselves in the position where continuing a pregnancy is not a good option for them. And the concept of judging them for that, and that's what the anti-abortion movement does. They judge the most vulnerable person and they go, oh no, the fetus is the most important. It's a collection of fucking cells, you fucking shit-eating morons! You disgust me! You are vile, disgusting abominations! You are liars, you are clueless, you spread lies, and you believe the most ridiculous shit in the world. And not least, this fucking piece of shit, Akin, is now getting this groundswell of support. All these people donating to him. I mean, you got one of the Christian groups said, oh, the fact that the Republicans actually went against him, it's like they're politically gang raping him. Ah! Seriously, if you dare say he misspoke, it's not even just, you can argue that he accidentally said the words legitimate rape, which was not an accident. It was a deliberate choice of words. He's saying the only women who want to get abortions are dirty sluts who weren't really raped. But the whole fucking sentence about women not getting pregnant if they were raped, that's not misspeaking, that's a whole position. And it is the fucking mainstream position of the American anti-abortion movement. Fucking people who put that forward as an offence, you are fucking scum and I fucking hate you. Okay? Are we clear? Hey, why don't I talk about someone I don't like in Australian politics? Leader of the opposition, Tony Abbot. I've mentioned him a few times because I really don't like him. Wow, I'm not quite over my cold and my lung capacity's not that great. I feel like I've been running around the block with that little explosion of anger. I'm short of breath and I can't be bothered stopping, so I'll have to edit. I'm going one take if I can. We'll see how this goes. But yes, Tony Abbot, there's a link down here to a video interview for one of the more serious current affairs programs in Australia, run on the national broadcaster ABC, the government-owned Australian Broadcasting Corporation. It's called the 7:30 Report, and the host, Leigh Sales, gets him for 12.5 minutes. And you'll see, if you watch this, he does not provide a single direct answer in 12.5 minutes. His entire run as opposition leader, he's got off almost scot-free, lying, talking shit, going for talking points rather than the truth, and dodging being put under any scrutiny or pressure. And he's got away with it from a really lazy and compliant media. When the media have gone after the government, legitimately, that's their job and they should do it. But they have fallen down appallingly in letting this prick get away with it. Seriously, watch it. It's astonishing to watch him wriggle. He is so uncomfortable because the host, Leigh Sales, just needles him and said, no, here's this, black and white. Here's a yes-no question. What's the answer? And he says something completely unrelated. And he just keeps going for 12.5 minutes. Look, seriously, the cracks are showing really badly in him. And if the media would be a bit more focused in having a go at him and actually making him answerable for the things he says and does, he would completely collapse. And there are several members of his own party just waiting to knife him in the back and take over. So that ought to be amusing for people interested in Australian politics over the next 6 to 12 months. But, oh yeah, and I will say, okay, anytime you point out that Tony Abbot is a lying scumfuck, his supporters get obsessed with, oh, Jill liar, she lied. And the one they always pull out is prior to the last election, Gillard specifically said, no government, I lead, will put in a carbon tax, and they have put in a carbon tax. What they really conveniently ignore, no matter how obvious it is what happened in the last election. For those who don't know, neither of the major parties got a majority, so somebody had to form a coalition with independent MPs, and a sufficient number of independents sided with the Labor Party to support them to form a government, and one of the conditions was the introduction of a carbon tax. The Labor's preference was a different carbon pricing structure, but the only thing the independents would support was this carbon tax, and so Labor said, okay, we'll put that in place. That was the condition. They had an extremely stark choice. You do this, or the other party forms government. It's as simple as that. So if you could go back in a time machine and say to Julia Gillard, okay, if you win, you're not going to put in a carbon tax, but if you don't get a majority and you will get the support of independents on the sole preference of you actually doing a carbon tax, would you do it then? That's the question you need the answer to. And nobody's got a time machine to do it. But as one of the key independents has pointed out, his conversations with the opposition leader was absolutely explicit. He would agree to anything to get power. He would have agreed to put in a carbon tax if that was what would take to get him in power. Anyone who says otherwise is a liar, okay? Simple as that. And also there was an amusing thing, because there's been a bit of a shit stirring going on about 17 years ago, 20 years ago, the Prime Minister Julia Gillard was a lawyer and she had a dodgy boyfriend, and she ended up leaving her law firm because they weren't happy about how she helped the dodgy boyfriend with some things. Although, as the law firm have repeatedly said, we investigated, there is no evidence of wrongdoing, there's no evidence she did anything wrong. She ended up leaving the law firm because of tension between her and the other partners over this, and I think possibly some other things. And it's just been, ooh, innuendo, innuendo. And this is one of the things that's in the interview. I really recommend you watch, when Leigh Sales says to Tony Abbot, "You've said the Prime Minister needs to answer questions on this. What are the specific questions?" And he just goes, "Oh," and he doesn't answer. And then to start contrast, the other day, Julia Gillard held a press conference and said, "I will stay up here and answer every single question. I will keep answering until you have no more questions." Here I am, and it went for about an hour, apparently. I didn't watch it, but it went for about an hour with her just answering all the questions. Like, the stark contrast of Tony Abbot spending 12 and a half minutes not answering a single question, and Julia Gillard spending an hour answering every question. You can't get a more stark contrast. And it's just been mind-blowing to see, and Tony Abbot, I think, is going to have a massive meltdown sometime in I would say probably 6 months. Everyone thinks it's a miracle he hasn't done it yet. I think other media people will now smell blood in the water and they will go him, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. You will see me laughing, gloating, and dancing on his political grave, because it is long overdue. Anyway, I want to lighten it up now. Going to Spain, another link. A heap of people sent me this week. A little old lady, 80-year-old lady, decided she was going to help clean up a fresco on the church walls from the 19th century. It was not particularly valuable. It's not particularly rare. It's apparently just a very standard thing. There's lots of them. But it was of sentimental value to the church, and they were planning to restore it. And she said, "I'll give it a go." And well, it came out looking like this. There's been a lot of talk about this could possibly be the worst restoration ever. But for me, the way it looks is not the totally fucked up thing. What's totally fucked up is it was a fresco. It's on the wall. She didn't take it home and do it in her bedroom or anything. She was doing it in the church for a while. People saw what she was doing and no one stopped her. She's the one who went, "I might have fucked this up," and went and told someone that we might have an issue here. And I don't hold her responsible as well. She was just trying to help. And in fact, I really like the way it looks now. I like it so much, I went out and got a tattoo of it. I showed an artist this picture and said, "I want this tattoo." And then he went and fucked it up.